no right or wrong way to grieve, but I feel like I am not allowed to grieve because I already removed this person from my life.
Hey, baby, that's all. Go. Call me when you have a chance, okay, baby? Love you. Bye.
Today is going to be more of like, I think something hard to hear. I look like this because it's been a rough past 24 hours, I think, or 12 hours, whatever. But I didn't go to bed until like 3:30 in the morning. Regardless, not the point. The point is, people want to talk about cutting family members off because they're toxic. And like, I'm sure people have heard the quote, like, oh, just because they're family, you're supposed to forgive them, or they're family, you can't cut them off. And I know, in the past on the podcast, I've talked about that and how I like stand by cutting people off regardless of them being family or not. Because it doesn't matter if they're family, friends, stranger, coworker, whatever. It's how they affect you and your mental health and like the toxic behaviors they bring to you. So I guess really, I don't know, I think I'm struggling because I had cut a person off in my family, and last night I had found out that this person had died, uh, and not in like a natural way, if you get what I'm saying. Um, sorry. So yeah, I think my issue I'm struggling with, and that's why I wanted to record today. It's Monday, so I don't know when I'm going to air this, but regardless, I wanted to record it today so you can kind of see like more of like a raw emotion and raw reaction rather than me taking a couple of days and like really thinking about it and like thinking what I'm going to say and thinking like, okay, I can't say that or I can't say this. You know what I mean? So, um, my issue that I'm struggling with is like, do I deserve to be sad? Do I deserve to grieve? Like, am I supposed to? I don't I don't know if I'm supposed to do that. I don't know if I'm allowed to be sad or allowed to like grieve this person, like this loss, because I cut that person off and I like didn't allow him to talk to me or my children or know like my children. I didn't allow my children to know him because he at the end of the day, right? I'm not going to speak ill on people who've passed, but I cut him off for a reason. Um, and I don't cut people off lightly. Like it has to be something like that this person's done, and it has to be a few times. You know what I mean? It's not like a one and done type of thing. Like I have the tendency to give people chance after chance after chance to like continue to hurt me until like I guess enough is enough. But I when I found out, this person had passed away, I I felt weird. I felt mad and then sad, and then I felt mad at myself for being sad. And I have to like tread lightly on this because my brother was very close with this person. And I think that's like what really, not that really hurts, but like it also like has a huge effect on me. My brother was very close with this person. This person had never really done anything awful or bad, whatever, to my brother. It was always very constant, like good, healthy relationship, I guess. I don't really know the extent to it, but from what I know and from what I've seen and I've heard, like they've always had a really good relationship. Um, so me in Germany having to call my brother in Rhode Island and telling him that last night, like that was hard and that sucked. Um, and I just, my heart like broke for him too. And I just, I don't know also how to like support and like console him. Like I don't know how to do that because I didn't have a relationship with this person and he obviously knows that. But like our relationships are just different and it happens and it's okay. But like, am I allowed to be sad? Am I allowed to be sad that this person died? I don't know. And like my husband last night, he was like, babe, you can be sad or you cannot be sad. He's like, there's no right or wrong way to grieve. And I'm just like, I mean, yeah, but there kind of is. Like, I'm supposed to be sad. This was a family member. This was not just like a distant person. Like, this was somebody who was in my life my entire life until I decided to, eliminate that person from my life. And I chose to do that. So I'm like, man, like I know I chose to do it for a reason. I don't regret cutting that person off because I did it for a reason. But I'm like, I don't know, it's just hitting me. It's like I know the last thing I said to him and I know the last thing he said to me. And it was not nice. I told him like he's DEAD to me and I never want to see him or talk to him ever again in my entire life. And I'm not going to speak on what he said to me, but obviously I said that for a reason. But, those were like the last words that I said to him. And I'm like, man. And now I know that like me cutting him off wasn't a reason or I don't feel at fault. I feel like maybe I played a part, but like also this person has ruined a lot of relationships in his life. So it struggles, like the struggle of how the fuck am I supposed to feel when I cut someone off and they pass away? And it's like, obviously I'm not going home to go to like the services because it's way too expensive to go back home. Number one, and number two, it's just like, this is now the third person that my family has lost, even though, whatever, you know what I mean? But the third person that I've lost since being here. And we haven't been able to like go home for any of them. But I also know my family and I know how uncomfortable and awful that will be. So I kind of am very glad that I cannot go home because that's just going to be a hot mess. It's going to be fights. It's just going to be awful. Like a time to grieve is a time to come together and I just know my family and that's just not going to happen. Like not one person is going to just keep the peace for the sake of being in a funeral home. Yeah, that's not how that works in my family, unfortunately. So I know shit's gonna hit the fan, and I do feel bad about like while I say I'm glad I'm not gonna be there for that, I wish I was able to be home to be there just for my brother, because it's always been me and my brother against the wall, like against the world, I should say. We had our backs together, and it was just everyone else against us all the time, and I have also always struggled with not being able to protect my brother 24/7. Like I am my brother's keeper and I grew up protecting him and I have always protected him. Like at one point, like he was dating this really psychotic girl and I literally broke up with her for him. I'm like, no, we're not doing that. But, as we're getting older and as my family has moved to different places, and unfortunately, I'm not near my brother anymore, I had to kind of like step back and like let him figure it out and let him navigate it. And that also is like a very hard thing for like an older sibling to do. If you know, like when you have protected your younger siblings for so long, letting go of them to figure out life for themselves is one of the most hardest things you'll ever have to do because it's like you have to just let them learn and let them grow. And you can't protect them from everything. Even though you want to, you just can't. So that's a very hard thing to do. I am very thankful though for Paige being like my brother's like foundation, essentially. That's what she is. She's like his foundation. And I know he's okay because he has her. I mean, I know he's not okay, but he has her. So I feel better knowing that he has someone to take care of him essentially right now, because this is also like whatever. It's just a hard thing. It's just like a hard process to navigate. And I just am like really struggling with like, I don't know how the fuck I'm supposed to feel. And I know I keep saying it, but it's because it's like literally I don't know how to do. I don't know how to feel right now. Like a part of me's mad because it's like, why would you do that? Like, why would you do that? And then a part of me's mad because it's like, why did you have to treat me the way you did? And then I'm mad at myself because it's like, should I have just not cut this person off and like just dealt with it, right? Just deal with it for the sake of dealing with it because they're old and, you know, old people die. But it's just like, I know I had to protect like my peace and my family and my kids. Like that comes first. But I'm really like disappointed in the last words that I said to him. And I think that's something I'm going to have to like process and deal with. And I was like talking to my cousin this morning, and she was like, I really just don't know how to feel. I'm like, yeah, I know, like me either. And she was like, you know, I had talked to him, whatever, and I'm not speaking for her, actually. No, I'm not going to do that. So never mind. But I'm going to say what I said. I said, you know, the fact that I haven't spoken to him and those being those last words to him, regardless of like what he did, I should handle myself better, I guess. But that is going to, while I don't have much of like a reaction, like a crying reaction right now, it's going to catch up to me. This grief will catch up to me eventually. And I never forgave him. So I know that that's gonna hold something on me for a little while. Because when I say like forgiving people, like I'm not forgiving people for them. I'm forgiving people for me, right? And when I say forgiving, I also don't mean like I forgive you and like we're fine. No, I'm forgiving you so I can let go of that hate in my heart and just like be at peace. Because holding on to, I'm a firm believer in like holding on to hate like does nothing. And it just causes more pain and like stops me from healing. So I don't want to hold on hate to anyone. So I mean, like, we all know I've talked about my parents or whatever, but like I still called when I found out this information. Like I still called and said, hey, you need to call so and so. This, like, I'm sorry, this is what happened. I'm not a heartless person. Like, I'm so sick of being villainized by other people in my family because I choose to cut other family members off. Like, it doesn't come lightly. I'm not cutting them off because, like, they did one bad thing or we disagreed. I'm cutting people off because I've endured physical and emotional harm from them time after time after time. And I am at a place in my life where it's like, I can't have that. I have 3 children. I need to show them like what love looks and feels like. That it doesn't need to be this hard and that it doesn't need to obviously be toxic, abusive, unhealthy. Like, it's just no way to live. So there's a lot of pressure on my shoulders. And like I said, I'm always not victimized, villainized or whatever for cutting people off. I'm always, always, always the problem. And that's fine to be people to think I'm the problem, people to think I'm the villain in their story. That's fine. But it comes to a point where it's like, can't you just like understand why I did this? Because it was not something that I did lightly, right? I've given people chances multiple times. So like enough's enough, right? I don't deserve. I had a childhood where I just went through so much pain and heartbreak and brokenness and emptiness and numbness. And I went through all of the freaking stages and feelings and like abandonment. And I don't want to feel that way anymore. So I don't know. I know that I cut this person off for a reason, but it just doesn't suck any less. And I don't want to also, like, I don't want to sit here and not allow myself to grieve. I don't want to sit here and not allow myself to feel, because that goes back to being like the numbness. That's a very scary place for me. And I don't want to be numb. I want to feel it. I want to go through it, and then I want to like heal that part. But again, it's just like another part of life that fucking sucks. So I don't know. I just wish things could be easier, obviously. It'd be so nice if things were easier. But it's like, I wish also like things could have been different. But obviously that didn't happen, and that's fine. But it's like, I feel stupid for being sad. But then I'm not even sad. I mean, I am. That sounds so stupid. Like, I am sad. But I'm not devastated. Which that also sounds awful. I don't know. See, I don't know how to process my emotions, and this is like right now, and this is why I wanted to come on here and like raw dog it. No, that was vulgar, but I wanted to like, this is the struggle. Like, this is like a messy, authentic, raw process, and it's like, it's real, and it sucks, and I know I'm going to be okay, and I wish he didn't do this, and I'm mad at myself that I didn't say anything else to him or reach out to him. But I know there's a reason for it. And I know it's too late now. But I do forgive him. I just never told him. So, and I know he like really didn't like me. Because he like called the other grandkids or whatever, and he had went to see them. And I know he can't physically come to see me, that's not what I'm saying, but like, if you are in this state of mind and you know whatever is gonna happen, why didn't you call? Do you really hate me that much? Obviously, right? Like, right, that's a thing. But I can't sit here and dwell on that either, which I know that'll catch up to me too, because that's the thing about trauma. Compartmentalize, and it catches up to you. So I'm always like, you need to talk about it, and then right now I'm just like, I don't know how to talk about it or feel about it, or like all these things are running through my mind, and then like I said, you didn't call me, say anything. Did I really just mean that little to you, I guess? But that just goes back to like being everyone's villain. They need someone to blame, and it's me, and it's whatever. I've been used to that my whole life. But it doesn't make it any easier. So I guess like the whole lesson of this is, I still am a firm believer though on cutting people off who bring nothing good to your life. You're going to have to grieve someone that's that's no longer in your life but still alive. Nobody talks about grieving someone who's still alive because that hits different. You can grieve someone when they pass away and it doesn't get better over time. It's just kind of, it's always in the back of your head, right? You think about this person all the time because they're no longer with you, but you have like happy memories. But like and you don't have to see them, you don't have to hear their voice or whatever, but when you remove someone from your life who is still alive, there's a chance you can see them. There's a chance you're going to hear them, hear their voice. There's a chance you're going to see them having relationships that you only wish you could have with that person, with other people. And that's a hard pill to swallow, I think. But you just have to remember that you're doing it for a reason, right? And now I'm not saying like you should cut someone off because you have one disagreement or they do one small like bad thing or even just one big thing. Like I don't believe you should cut someone off after a one and done type thing. It's a big decision, it's a big commitment, and it's not something you should take lightly, right? Like I don't say, yeah, you just cut him off. Oh, he pissed you off? Cut him off. Oh, she said that? Cut him off. No, don't do that. You got to really think about all of it as a whole and think, what does this person bring to my life? What does this person not bring to my life? How many things has this person done to me? Is like enough. You got to protect yourself because you come first. If you don't put yourself first, you are no good to anyone else. And so yeah, I mean, I do believe, if people are no good for you and they continue to show you who they are and they continue to hurt you, absolutely remove them from your life. But just be prepared for this of inevitably that person will pass away and you don't have any, like either you don't have good final words with that person or you don't have any words with that person to like think about like the last words. So keep that in mind because I have not, this is the first time I'm going through this, so I don't know how to navigate it. It's something new and I know I can't push it away. I know I have to feel it. I know I have to like not feel bad for not feeling as sad as everyone else. Because my relationship was different. And like there's people who have not talked to this person in years and have said awful things about this person. And when they found out, it's, oh my, like they're poor me, poor me, poor me. And while maybe that's just their way of grieving, I can't critique or say anything bad about the way they're grieving. But I just know I can't do that. I can't sit here and fake my feelings. I'm not saying they're faking it, but that's what it seems like to me. That's my opinion. That's how it comes off to me. It might not come off to everyone else, and that's fine. But for me, I can't fake my feelings. I can't be a blubbering, screaming, crying mess over somebody who I no longer speak to because they've continuously hurt me in my life. So, yeah. I guess that's it. Again, my podcasts aren't going to be super long unless I have a guest that's different. But for mine, just me, just talking to you guys. And I'm sorry if I was a mess this video. This is, like I said, it was raw, real. And this is what the fuck it is, I guess.